there must have been some tough times. There must have been some really challenging moments, and yet you're still best friends and you're still running the company together. Can you share a few war stories about how you got through some of what those tough times were and how you got through them? And do you recommend starting businesses with your best friends?
Yeah, great question. Wow. Okay. So the good news is my best friend wasn't named Eduardo, so that made things a little bit easier. So Dylan and myself, and actually the third and fourth employees of Box, we actually all went to high school together up in Seattle, and so we knew each other extremely well. We already kind of knew each other's ticks. Like Dylan likes to save money, so don't ask to borrow money from him, right? That's just like a no-no. And so we were an opportunity where we had already collaborated for a very long time. I realize that's extremely unusual in terms of as you're starting companies in college. But what I think we kind of both, us and even the kind of third and fourth guys that we went to school with, we all realized that we're trying to have the most amount of fun. We're trying to have the largest amount of impact. We're trying to not let the things that happen in the business world, impact our own relationships. What's also kind of interesting, though, to be fair, is our relationships have over time transitioned to being more business-oriented relationships. And so we're often talking about business. We're talking about the technology, talking about the product. And so it's sort of almost hard to blur to separate the two at this point. When I shared a bedroom with two other guys for 6 months. And this was like not a submarine. This was this was like in a regular room. And when you get to know people that well, there's a certain kind of humming that can happen, and sort of everyone's thinking each other's thoughts, and there's a lot of excitement, but it can be a risk. There's a lot of situations where people have separated from their co-founders. There's a lot of situations where people have separated from their partners in life, right? And that hasn't worked out. So there's really many ways that can end up. I would just recommend being as open, as communicative as possible. Make sure that everyone's on the same page at all times. The one benefit, not the one, there's many, a big benefit to starting companies with people you do know is there's a much higher degree of trust. We've been able to, almost through peer pressure, just that is sort of social in nature and subtle in nature, make sure that we're all in this together at all times. And it's this level of bond, which means that we know that no one's going to like leave if something goes wrong or if there's going to be a problem. That's a level of I think tightness that comes when you have a bigger and better relationship with people. But over time, you also have to build those kinds of relationships with the new people that come into Box. And so we've tried to create that type of familiarity with everyone that we're working with.